Hey team, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can combine cardiovascular training with lifting so that you don't burn out and you can make progress on both of those goals. My name's Andy, aka Coach Taters. I'm on a mission to help people like you look like they train as hard as they do. Now, I'm 2.5 weeks out from the first half marathon I would have done in over 12 years. Yes, I used to be a runner a very long time ago, and I've recently got back into running. Now, what's different this time is I am trying to keep up my lifting so that I can maintain muscle mass, maintain strength, and I don't just want to perform well, I want to look good as well. I want to keep a lean physique and I want to be able to perform in and outside of the gym. So combining these two things is very important. We've got the cardiovascular side, which has given me an element of competitiveness again. It's given me way better cardiovascular fitness and mental clarity. It's been really a great journey so far with the cardio, but combining the two is really, really difficult. And I think that a lot of people get this wrong because what they'll try and do is they'll try and stack a whole lifting program on top of a whole cardio program and wonder why they're not making any progress in either and just spinning their wheels. So in this video, I'm going to go through some of the issues that I've had come up on my journey so that you don't have to make the same issues and we can all make progress in our cardio sessions and our lifting sessions while still looking bloody good. So the biggest issue that I ran into was my recovery. I'm a father of 2 young children and sleep is always an issue. But the stress of raising a family while building a business and trying to stay fit and healthy myself, it's a lot. You add that into the mix with bad sleep, regular adult stuff that I have to do, and it's just really difficult to recover from workouts in the same way that I used to when I was in my early 20s. With that said, I do not use age as an excuse. It's just a stage of life that makes it a little bit more difficult to recover, in my opinion. So the hardest thing was being able to recover from my workouts. I was watching YouTube videos from runners talking about how you've got to increase your mileage, you need to increase the intensity of your sessions, how to run in zone 2, how to run in zone 5. All of this stuff which sounded amazing, but as I started to implement it alongside my lifting, I quickly realized that I was getting completely burnt out. Because I was still doing 4 lifting sessions a week at the training volume that I'd always done up to that point. But now I'm adding on top of that, not just a few runs a week, but I'm trying to do like 4 or 5 runs a week, mixing up zone 2, high intensity training, and it was exhausting. I came to the realization that more training volume is only good if you can recover from it. Because if you can't, you're not going to make any progress. And that is exactly what was happening to me. So before I get into my actual program and how I've kind of manipulated that, I'm going to go over with you some options that you have when you're approaching this. The first option that you have is like a strength priority option. If your goal is to just improve strength, improve muscle mass, improve body composition, and that you're just doing cardio to support that goal, that's relatively straightforward. Because it'd be very easy for you to tack on some zone 2 cardio after your lifting sessions, or even have like 1 or 2 days a week that you would do additional to your lifting sessions. Zone 2 cardio, if you go at a very steady pace, isn't likely going to impact your lifting and your overall recovery. In fact, it could potentially improve it. This is a great option if you have a fat loss goal, because you should be optimizing everything for fat loss. Because if you're trying to wrestle with, I want to lose fat, but I also want to perform well, they are 2 difficult things to navigate because you're trying to eat for performance and you're trying to eat in a calorie deficit for fat loss. That is not ideal. You can do it, but it's almost better to just dedicate yourself to one goal. So if you do have a fat loss goal, it might just be easier to prioritize your lifting, eating in a calorie deficit, and then focusing on just adding in a little bit of zone 2 cardio after your sessions. And even the zone 2 cardio you don't necessarily have to do. If you're increasing your step count and you're just walking more, that's going to really, really help you as well. Probably more so than doing cardio, because more cardio, the more intense it becomes, the more exponentially fatiguing it becomes. More fatigue means more stress, more messed up hunger hormone signaling, worse sleep potentially. So just be careful if you do have a fat loss goal. So if you're trying to do strength as your priority and then try and build a base of performance in running, let's say, then you probably want to keep it to 3 to 5 lifts per week and then sprinkle in some zone 2 sessions, maybe 1 to 2 zone 2 sessions a week, plus maybe a higher intensity interval session once a week. Option 2 is more of an endurance priority. If you are good and you just want to maintain your strength and your muscle mass, then you can probably go and lift 2 to 3 times a week, reduce the number of sets you do while gradually increasing your running or endurance volume over time. You don't want to do too much too soon, but you're reducing the volume on the lifting side and you're gradually increasing the volume on the running side. The third option is a full hybrid approach where you're trying to make progress in both of those goals. This is where it becomes challenging because you want to make sure that you're pairing your workouts well together so that you're not having kind of any interference where you are training sore muscles or having to go for long runs with your legs can't even move. And so this is where controlling volume can be very, very helpful. Now I'm going to show you exactly what I've done with my training to help me achieve this more hybrid approach. Right, now here's what I was trying to do. And for someone that's very advanced, maybe they could do this, but for someone that's trying to get into it, aka me, it was not good. I was exhausted, and this basically led to me getting shingles. Not just this, but with the kids bringing home sicknesses from school and stuff. So, lifting 4 days a week. Lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And during those sessions, I was doing my full lifting split. I'd pick 2 exercises per body part. So I would do 2 for quads, I would do 2 for hamstrings, 2 for calves. I was basically doing regular training volume within those sessions. I'd pick 2 exercises per body part. I'd do 3 to 4 working sets per exercise. Alongside that, basically every day except Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday was a double session. Mondays, double session. Lower body and then short intervals. Something like 8 by 400 meters, or something that I've been doing recently on the half marathon plan, which is 3K of half marathon pace, 1K recovery jog, times 3 or 4. Tuesday, upper body session, then 60-minute zone 2. Okay, I can do that within one session, but the session was taking like 2 hours. I don't have 2 hours to be at the gym. I've got to put food on the table. Wednesday, threshold session or longer intervals. We're talking 20 to 60 minutes of hard work, very intense session. Thursday, straight back in with a lower body session and 60 minutes of zone 2 again. Friday, upper body, 45 minutes zone 2 with some strides in there, so picking up the pace a little bit. Saturday long run, Sunday rest. Now, if you've built up to this over the course of a couple years, I'm sure that's fine, but I haven't. I'm just introducing running into my program. So going from not doing very much to suddenly doing a huge amount of mileage per week wasn't great. Here's what I've changed it to that seems to be working a lot better for me. Okay, when I go through this, you might realize that it's not a huge adjustment, but there's some explanation to that. So the first thing that I've done was I've switched my upper body day and my lower body day around. So I'm doing upper body and then I'm doing the short intervals. So Monday is actually a double session. I'm lucky, I work from home. I have the flexibility to set my own schedule, and so I can do that, but it's still a very tiring start to the week. Tuesday, I just do lower body. Wednesday, I just go for a run and do my threshold or longer interval session. Thursday is just an upper day. Friday is a double session day as well, where I'll do lower body and then I'll do 60 minutes of zone 2. Saturday is kept the same. Now, what almost always ends up happening is I have to combine the upper and lower into one day, and then I'll just do the zone 2 on the other day. So what usually might happen is on a Thursday, I'll do upper and lower together. I'll do a full body, and then Friday will just be a run on its own. For example, this week, tomorrow is Good Friday, and so today I'm going to do a full body session, and then tomorrow I'll do my 60-minute zone 2 run. So it seems to be working really well for me. If I get the chance to go in the gym 4 sessions a week, I'll still do that. But I'm now doing it with a much lower training volume. I'll go really close to failure on the exercises that I can, and I'll do 1 to 2 working sets. I'm choosing machines more than I am free weights. I don't have any huge goals of building up my barbell back squat right now. It would be cool at some time to do that. But I'm using more like the pendulum squat, the leg extension, the hamstring curl. I'm leaning on machines because there's less central nervous system fatigue, and that makes it going for a run way easier. Okay, I have some soreness in things like my quads and my calves sometimes, but it's much easier getting out of bed and going for a run when you have sore muscles than it is when you can feel completely drained because your central nervous system is Frieza Manelli. The other thing that I've been trying to do, and I can always do a better job of this, is trying to listen to my body and use that to my advantage when I'm thinking about how intense my sessions are going to be for the day. So if I wake up and I'm feeling trashed, I might change the threshold into a zone 2 run, for example. Another way you can manage this is by using the RPE scale, which is basically rate of perceived exertion on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're always going to be aiming for an 8 out of 10, if you're feeling really rough that one day, an 8 is always going to feel an 8. And so you just have to change up your pace or distance based on that RPE. So if your pace is like last week you did 5 minutes per kilometer and that was an 8 out of 10 RPE, you're feeling drained this week and you're going to go out and you can only do 5.5 minutes per kilometer, but that isn't 8. That's okay. You're focusing on auto regulation, that's called. You're focusing on adjusting your training based on how you're currently feeling. The other thing that you can do is, instead of focus on your pace, is focus on what your heart rate is. If you're feeling really beat up, it might be difficult to control your heart rate, and so if you're trying to stay in zone 2, and that has to be like around 135 beats per minute, if it's way slower or way faster than previous weeks, that's okay, as long as you're in the training zone that you need to be in. And so learning to adjust your training is going to be very, very important, especially if you want to be doing this for a long time, which you bloody should. We're hybrid athletes, mate, you know what I mean? And of course, like, trying to get good amount of sleep. Like, people go and invest hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in recovery tools like compression boots and all sorts, but yet they're getting like 6 hours sleep. Now, if you're a parent like me, there's only so much you can do, but, you know, I still scroll on my phone before bed, you know, so there's always some room for improvement. There's always something that you can do to make it slightly better for yourself. So work on your sleep habits, work on your nutrition, make sure you're getting enough calories, make sure you're getting enough carbohydrate, make sure you're timing your carbohydrate well. If you don't know how many calories to aim for and you don't know what macronutrient ratio to aim for, then check out the link in my description. I've got a free calorie macro calculator for you. It'll tell you exactly what you need per day, and then you can focus on your meal timing while you've got those targets. Tracking performance is obviously going to be key, because if you're not tracking performance, you don't know, are you making progress in the gym? Are you getting leaner if fat loss is your goal? Are you making progress out on your runs? If you're not tracking, how do you know it's even working? You can't just rely on how you feel, because you could feel tired, but you could be making great progress. But if you're not tracking, you can't always see that. And one thing I've noticed is, if I miss a session because I'm tired, chances are I would have been just as tired if I had done the session. So it's really a balancing game with adding in lifting and cardio together. You know, you've got to keep this balance here. Like, if you've got a full lifting program that you're used to, and now you're going to add in cardio, you've got so much more to recover from. That is, unless you're just doing low intensity cardio to help you with your fat loss journey or to just get your heart rate up a little bit. That's not too exhausting. But if you're training for performance, you're going to have to adjust so that you can find the balance, so that you're able to recover from training. You don't feel completely beat up throughout the day, and you are making progress on both of those goals. And so don't be afraid to reduce the frequency of your lifts, for example, or reduce the number of working sets that you do, or start leaning into the use of machines. Same, if you're coming from a running background, you're trying to add in lifting, you know, you might need to just reduce some of those sessions that you're doing, whether that's the intensity or the overall volume, so you can start adding in some lifts. As time goes on, you might be able to increase that back up a little bit. Your ability to manage that stress and recover well might increase over time, but you don't want to do too much too soon, because you're just going to be so frustrated with your lack of results. I'm pretty new on this hybrid journey myself. It's very important to me because I'm now 37 years old. I've got 2 kids. I want to be able to live for a long time. I want to add years to my life, but life to my years, mate. Boom. Mic drop, mate. I feel like people a similar age to me have clued in about, it's not just about how you look, it's about how you perform as well. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for aesthetics. I really enjoy the focus on physique development as well, but I'm not someone that's going to go and stand on a bodybuilding stage. I want to be able to perform well, and I want to look like a beast as well. So if that's you, make sure you're following, because I've got plenty more videos on this exact topic coming out. And if you've got any advice for me as a relatively new hybrid athlete, let me know in the comments, because I'm always open to suggestions on my training and nutrition. If you would like to learn how to piece together a gym training program, check out this video here, where I go into detail on exactly how to set up your own program for the maximum gains. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.